Hi and welcome to Moonworkers. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create your payroll account so you can start processing payroll for your employees. Since this is the first time you are using Moonworkers, you'll access the wizard by clicking on either payroll or HR section from the top navigation bar. You can now click on this call to action configure now to access the wizard. It contains 4 simple steps. The first one is called parent schedule, meaning that this is where you're gonna be able to determine how often you are going to process payroll. The second one will invite you to enter your HMRC logins. The third one, configure pension and auto-enrollment. And finally, leave allowances and working patterns. So let's get started. The first one is to configure your parent schedule. You can select multiple schedules, but let's suppose we are doing just a monthly payroll. Click on configure. In this first field, is the date that you'll have to enter is the first time you are going to process payroll on Moonworkers. So for example, suppose I'm going to process payroll on the 30th of July. I apply. Then I will determine when I will pay my employees, because in between you'll have to submit your FPS to HMRC, which is done automatically on Moonworkers, but you should allow yourself some time between your parent date and when you pay your employees. So suppose we are paying our employees the 1st of August. Done. Let's continue. This step is now completed. I can enter my HMRC logins. So the PAYE reference is found on the initial letter from HMRC when you're registered for the first time as an employer. Otherwise, you can find it from your PAYE account. Let's put some random data here and validate. Your RTI credentials are nothing but your HMRC logins. So for example, when you log into HMRC platform to submit your VAT or to pay your national insurance contributions as an employer, when logging in, you have to enter your login and password. And this is exactly what you need here at this step. Notice that you can register as an employer, an institution, or as an accountancy practice, but I believe in most of the cases you will be registering as an employer. The next step invites you to create your pension scheme. So supposedly you have signed up to a pension scheme approved by the pension regulator. So here you just enter the detail of your pension scheme. And then create your default worker group. The upper and lower limits have been set automatically according to the tax year. It's automatically updated from year to year. Nevertheless, you have the option to change it manually if needed, and depending on the workers groups that you are going to create. Moreover, you can adjust the contributions, so both for the employee and the employer. By default, we enter the minimum for the current tax year, which is 5% for the employee and 3% for the employer. I believe as a first step, it's very unlikely that you'll have to change it, but in case you need, you can do it. Finally, you can define your default employee leave allowances. Usually in the UK, it's 28 days. Nevertheless, you can change it as much as needed. And if you wish to, you can also show the remaining allowances on the employee payslips. And then you can create working patterns. So during Quiz Wizard, you will create your first working pattern. Usually, this is the default pattern for your company. For this one, I recommend to set the work week for 37.5 hours, and then to use the working days in period for the pro rata rule. So you click on the day, you set the number of hours in the field, then you confirm, and it will automatically save the working hours per day for this pattern. We provide you with some insights about the total number of hours per day and per week. And that's it. You're done. So now you can start onboarding your first employees or import them, of course. And your payroll config is done. Additionally, you can start connecting your accounting software by clicking on the button below the pop-in, which will send your journal entries at the end of each schedule.